One thing that I think so many people are so looking forward to coming out of this pandemic is live music. I was talking to some of my friends over the weekend. Sadly, Friday, the Oakland County Boat Club, they were going to have a group out there Friday night, but
Ah,
because of the weather, it was canceled. But so many people are really eager to get back to listening to live music, and
yeah.
it doesn't really matter the genre. If you're classical or country or rock and roll, we just need that because it helps fuel our souls. And with that, I wonder what it's been like for our next guest throughout the past year and a half. Dennis Curry joins us now on the MegaCast. He's the resident Carillonneur over at Oakland University. Great to have you with us, Dennis. How are you today?
Thank you, Ronnie and Tyler. I'm very glad to be here to talk about this wonderful device we've got. And you see in the virtual screen behind me, that is the tower that contains 49 bells. And it's right at the center of campus at Oakland University. And it's quickly become the icon of the university. And not many people even know what a carillon is. I'm glad you ran to the dictionary to try to figure out what is this thing.
I will say I didn't know. I was like on Google this morning going, what? Huh? And then as soon as you read it, it makes perfect sense, but we all take it for granted.
Well, people think it's a clock tower because it does tell the time, but it actually houses a musical instrument that's over 500 years old. Not this particular instrument, but carillons actually started in the Middle Ages in the Low Countries of Europe, in the Netherlands and Belgium. And they were in the tall tower, whether it was City Hall or the church steeple, and they would tell the time. They would toll the hour. It would help inform the citizens. You didn't have cell phones, televisions, any other media other than something happens at this time. And so it was the voice of the city. And it would also let them know that the market is in town. I mean, you didn't have grocery stores back then, of course. The markets would come to the town square. And soon wasn't just one bell, it was several bells that will help entertain the people. Civic Pride got in there somehow, and the next town said, well, Antwerp's got 9 bells, I want 15 bells.
A
And
little
so then
competition there, right?
And then you will see there's an interesting architectural piece to this because the towers kept getting taller and more bells. And so it became the voice of the city. Now at Oakland University, this tower was built 7 years ago. And it was a very generous gift by Hugh and Nancy Elliott. And they wanted to do something to help define the university, which it clearly has. It's now the icon of the university. And we will be celebrating the 6th annual summer concert series. We invite guests in from around the world, and people will be coming from Illinois and Ohio and Maryland and even Detroit, of course. So it will be 6 Fridays at 6. We start July 9th at 6 p.m. for 6 consecutive Fridays. And there are wonderful players from a wide variety of backgrounds. And I close the series on August 13th. But as an opportunity to come hear free music, we play anything from classical, as you mentioned, through pop. And so it's a very public instrument. Bring picnic tables, bring chairs. We do have some picnic tables there. Bring a blanket, just sit on the lawn under the tree, and you see the beautiful listening area that we've got around here. There's also a fountain right next to the tower. It's one of these interactive fountains. It just squirts up out of the ground and then vanishes away. So the kids love to run through it, and I've even seen some adults running through it on a hot summer evening.
So with that, Dennis, if I can ask you, because it really is fascinating. The one thing, Tyler, I love about the show is you learn something new
Yeah,
every day
we do.
through the guests that we interview. And when we're talking about this instrument, it somewhat looks like a piano, but yet it's playing bells. It's really fascinating.
We will have closed circuit TV, so you will be able to see the performer live. He's actually up right under the opening. You see the belfry louvers. It's halfway up the tower. It was where the playing cabin is, and the console is there. The console looks pretty much like a bunch of broomsticks in a row, but they correspond to naturals and sharps like you would on a piano. But it also has feet pedals to play, and because you play with your fists, you press these levers down, and that is mechanically connected to the clapper, which gets pulled into the bell. So you can play loud and soft depending on how hard you hit these levers.
So with
So
that, Dennis,
it's medieval aerobics, I call it. I mean, first of all, you've got to climb up to the tower, and then there's no assist other than your own physical strength.
right? So you're getting a workout with this. And Dennis, can I ask you, how did you get interested, interested rather, but also fascinated with this instrument to the level of which you are, because you're very well known.
Well, that's glad to hear, but I don't know how. It's a small world in the Carillon world. There's about 186 Carillons in North America. Michigan has 14. Uh, Oakland University is the 14th. It is the newest one in North America, in the Western Hemisphere. There are a couple Carillons that have been added since, but in Europe, or I guess in the rest of the world, there's probably over 400 Carillons. So it is a small world. But I learned at Kirk in the Hills, and many of our viewers may recognize that church in Bloomfield Hills. It's a Scottish Gothic cathedral looking thing, and it has a very tall spire. And I was always interested in music. I went to school at Indiana University for music, and learned organ, basically. And this works like an organ because you're playing with your hands and your feet. And because there were so few carillons around, I was singing in the choir at the Kirk. And the organist carillonneur there said, "I bet you'd want to learn how to play this thing." Well, there were very, very few instruments around. I didn't know what it was myself. I just thought it was a bunch of bells in a tower. And so he was 89 years old, and he said, "Come on with me up to the tower." We huffed and puffed. Well, I did, he didn't. And so I just quickly fell in love with it. And so that's where I learned. In my professional career, I said I was in music, but I also wanted to eat. So I got an engineering degree and worked in the auto industry, and was fortunate to do a lot of global traveling. So I've been able to visit places all around the world. Every carillon is different. Every setting is different. Here in this particular area in Michigan and in the US, many times the bells are in a very quiet zone. They're in a lovely setting, as you can see here at Oakland, where you can relax and enjoy the music. Some places in Europe, however, they're right in the densest part of the city. So you just don't have the luxury of enjoying the music. And it's just a wonderful thing. During the pandemic, this was one of the very, very few live music venues around. And we put out some advertising, and we thought, should we shut down? No, we asked people to do due diligence, wear your mask. But they were so appreciative to come out in the fresh air and enjoy live music. So we didn't miss a beat.
That's great to hear, because we've all missed live music. Dennis Curry here with us on the MegaCast. He's a resident carillonneur over at the Oakland University. And Dennis, are you worried that this genre is going to fade away with the next generation? And how do you entice younger people to get involved, just like the individual did with you?
There are many places that teach. I do teach here. I've got some students. University of Michigan actually has two carillons, one on main campus and one up on North Campus. and they teach there. Grand Valley also has a Carillon program, and Michigan State. So we are teaching young students. Will they ever be a Carillonneur and make this a lifetime occupation? No, there are very few full-time positions that would support, your livelihood. But it's a great opportunity to do something musically, physically, and to share talents and these beautiful resources with the community.
So this really, do you approach it as a community service?
I really do, because not only for the wider community, we advertise this, through the media, and but we invite the outsiders in. We do use the instrument for every possible graduation and special ceremonies. It also helps unite people in times of grief. We've done memorial kinds of programs. We connect with the people. There's a Veterans Day ceremony that we do. There's a 9/11 ceremony that we honor. There are, wonderful celebratory kind of opportunities too. So it speaks to the people. It is the voice of the people, voice of the university. So we just want to share it with everybody. And we do get a lot of people from the surrounding areas.
So, Dennis, just a few more minutes here with you on the MegaCast. Can I ask, how long does it take to learn the instrument, but also master it?
Godly. I feel like I never mastered. I've been playing it for 32 years, and I'm still learning. I am still learning. So we have a series every Friday at noon where we perform a half-hour free concert, and when students are ready to, with their piece that they've learned, one piece, two pieces, whatever, they perform along with me. So they'll do their piece and I'll fill it the rest of the half hour. I now have a student that is actually going to make her debut this summer in University of Michigan Summer Carillon Series. So I've been asking her to play the noontime program, which helps her polish up her skills before she goes to her big debut.
Wow. And it's great practice, but we are so lucky to have someone such as you right here in our community and teaching the next generation and keeping this alive as well, because it's so important. And with that, Dennis, can I ask you, how can people find out more information if they do want to listen? Is it open to the public to go sit on the campus lawn?
Yes. I mean, for the summer series, we do have a website. And you just go to oakland.edu/Elliott-Tower, ELLIOTT-Tower. There you will see information on the summer series. There's also contact information on that site. So if anybody is interested in studying, whether they're enrolled in the university full-time or as a part-time situation, we take students from 16 years old to 65, or actually more.
And we've all learned during the pandemic, don't withhold life. Live it. Learn new things. Embrace new adventures. And this could be a new adventure for someone that has a love for music.
That's right. I mean, even if you're just having a couple friends over and having a picnic, it's just a great opportunity to be outside and have sounds fill the air.
Well, Dennis, we're so blessed and lucky to have you here in the community. We want to say thank you for taking time to be with us. We so appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to advertise the series. Come and see and listen.
Absolutely. Dennis Curry with us here on the MegaCast, Resident Carillonneur over at the Oakland University